Hi everyone, welcome to this very exciting session about which we're calling senior to junior interaction. So when you talk of culture, when you talk of a learning culture and educational institutions, an integral part of that is how seniors pass on the wisdom of some good practices of how you can make good use of the opportunities and what kind of mindset can get you going. This is characteristic of premier educational institutions. And at least I can recall when I was in ISER in my first year, one of my seniors, Raghu Anna, told me that, Tarun, if you like programming and if you like math, why don't you explore theoretical computer science? And that's how I got into theoretical computer science in my first year of college at ISER. So at Deep Thought as well, we have that culture of senior to junior interaction, which happens once in a while. So I will invite some of my colleagues, the current interns of Deep Thought, to share their learning experiences at Deep Thought, and also some advice they may have for all of you of what kind of mindset could help you here. Because a lot of times we learn things only in hindsight, right? Our mentor and CEO, Mr. Yugandhar Reddy, says one thing. In hindsight, all of us are intelligent. After making the mistake, all of us become very intelligent to know how not to do it. But that's okay. At least let's listen to the stories of the others. And sometimes in life, we wish this, right? If someone told this to me earlier, I would have started 6 months early and so on. So there are certain learnings which our interns get at the second month or third month, and they feel, अरे अगर किसी ने मुझे first month में ये बताया होता, I wouldn't have spent 2 months making that mistake. Maybe I would have done it in first month. So maybe a little bit of that senior to junior gyan. I understand gyan is a little irritating, but sometimes gyan is a good medicine which we all need. So I hope some of the senior to junior gyan would turn out to be interesting. And at Deep Thought, we are huge fans of the Socratic pedagogy, the culture of questioning, going deep into something by questioning. So today we can probably expect that too, where we can ask questions and so on. So on that note, I'm sure you're all quite excited. I'm excited too to see the kind of conversations which would start off right now. So the excitement has made me forget my pain also, right? And probably quite happy to, see what you guys have to say right now. So the first one who wants to share your experiences, please go ahead and share your experiences.
Palash was speaking before, but I feel like he's having some coughing problem. So I'll start. Hello, everyone. I joined Deep Thought around, I think, 3 or 4 months back. And is it okay? I'm going to try speaking very loudly. Let me know if it's audible or not, guys. Yeah. So I had my initial contract was as a UX designer, UI designer, and also a bit of UX researcher. So initially when I had joined, I like only in the first week, I was not tasked with a role of a UX designer or even a UI designer. I was actually helping out with the social media team with the posts on LinkedIn and things like that. So when I had first joined, my initial thought was, did I make a mistake? Joining Deep Thought, because I thought I joined as a UX designer, but instead I am doing something from a social media point of view. So I had talked to a person who is not a Deep Thought right now, and she told me that, why don't you just talk to Tarun about it? And initially I had that kind of hijak that like, oh, Tarun is the boss. If I talk to him, I'll be like, will he shout at me? Will I be scared? And I took that plunge and I went and asked him, and he instantly made sure that I got some UX and UI work, and that's how I started working on my field. And this gave me the confidence to ask questions and understand the projects I've been given, not just from a UX or UI point of view, but also from a product point of view. So throughout my time at Deep Thought, one of the most important things I've learned is that when someone is telling you something about a project or you are learning something, if you have a question, if you have a doubt, just ask. It's better to communicate and get to know the right information rather than just thinking, oh, if I ask the person, will the person scream at me, or you know, it's okay, I'll figure it out, or ask someone else. Getting the full understanding is the most important part, and the more you practice that, the better you get at understanding as well. Because now, at first when I joined, I used to be a little scared of Tarun because he's the boss. But now I feel like if I have any doubt, I can just message him, or I can just find him on the link and instantly ask him. Because even if he might scream at me, I just know that at least I'll get you know the full understanding, and I'll go ahead with the project in the best way possible. So that's something I want everyone to do. If you guys ever have any doubts with the briefs given to you or any tasks or anything, just ask the person and give it to you if you have any doubts. You don't need to hold back. No one here is, waiting to just get mad at you. Everyone just wants to make sure that we get the work done and we learn together and we understand together. So that's something I want everyone to, practice.
Yeah, I would like to go in next. So my name is Shawan. So as you can already see on Zoom, my name is Shawan Mandal. So I joined Deep Thought around it's been like quite a long time, around 10 months. So initially I joined as a backend developer, but as Harsh mentioned, right, like nothing goes as planned. So well, I joined as a backend, but right now I am kind of a full stack and also DevOps. So basically, when I joined DeepThought, so this is my first internship. Like I have never done internship before, and also nobody asked me to do internship. I just wanted to explore stuff, so that's why I joined in. So initially, I was like kind of a scared little kid, you can say. I used to avoid like talking to people. My videos like used to be off, but like after some times, like when I started speaking to people, I started like moving from one room to other. So I started interacting with people, and like they gave me kind of support. Okay, so like most of you in this link might be new, right? You are probably on your like first few days of your observation period, or you might be like in a training period. But it's always good to interact with people, learn from them, and also like even if you don't feel like talking, you can always go and like see them work, like how they are working, and you can always learn from them. So basically that was my problem. I was not talking to people. So that's one of the like suggestions I would like to give to everyone, that you start talking to people, start feeling free. So that will give you that, I can say it will give you more flexibility like while working basically. And the next thing what I would like to mention is about cross functionality. So in Deep Thought, we believe in cross functionality. Like there is nothing called as, if you are in tech team, you can only be with tech team. You can't go to the other teams and see their work, can't contribute in other stuff. So there is nothing like that. Even if you are a developer, you can always go and brainstorm with the UI UX team. You can always brainstorm with the product team. It will always give you like, it will help you in innovating new stuff. So basically, if there is a product discussion going on, you can always go and present your ideas. Like, okay, if they are discussing of a feature, you can always go and tell them, okay, this is possible, this is not possible. You can do it better this way. You can always present your own ideas. So this is one of the important things that I would like to mention. Like we believe in cross functionality. So this was my point number two. My point number three would be like exploration and communication. So as I mentioned, right, I initially joined as a backend developer. So I was not at all like I was not having that much good skill, but I always try to explore new stuff. So even when I was on work, even when I was not on work, I was always trying to explore what I did today. let me see like if I could make some new improvement. Let me explore this code base more and try to find out if there is something that I don't know and I want myself to learn about that. So that's what pushed me towards like learning more stuff and also trying to keep on developing new things. And only developing new things or finding out new stuff isn't enough. You should always try to communicate with others and share those knowledge. So that leads in like a kind of a social learning so that you can also grow and also make others grow with you. So like these were like a few things that I would like I wanted to mention. And also like one more point I would like to like point out. So this is a startup, right? So nothing goes in as planned. So we should be always like ready to face those challenges, right? We should always like there might be plans, but those plans might not go in that point. So we should always be like we should have that thing with us to face those challenges. So that will always like when you put yourself in a situation, right? You will at first you will struggle, but from the next time you'll stand up and actually solve that thing. Yeah, so these were like few of the things like I wanted to share with all of you. Yeah.
I have three questions for you, Shavan. But before that, I think this itself is social learning, that you're sharing what you're learning and learning better. But three questions.
Yes. Yeah.
Question one, could you give one example of how you discussed with the teaching team and what you gained as a developer for your product while discussing with teaching team?
Yeah. Well, I have couple of examples.
Second question,
Okay.
your leadership journey. What was your attitude towards leadership earlier? What is your attitude towards leadership now? And what are you thinking because you're getting to lead a 30-member team now? And third question is composer by your story, if you can share with everyone.
Okay, you mean Lord Baby's composer, right? Okay. Yeah. So I will start by like what I got from like whatever I could extract out from the teaching team. So basically we were in very early, like we were in very early stage of our product. That's SDLMS. That's a Socratic Dialogue Learning Management System. So the wireframe was given, the brief was given. So we just had to like connect the dots and make out the product, right? So we were assuming it to go that way, but it didn't. Like I mentioned, right? You might have a plan, but that plan might not work. It might not go the way you thought it to go. So there were like a lot many problems. There were like a lot many UX problems. So what we did, we connected with the teachers, and by teacher I mean the person who is really going to use that software. So it's always good to target your end users, right? It's always good to target your end users and understand from them what they want actually from the product. So that way, by brainstorming with the teachers and the users who is going to actually interact with the product, I got to learn more about like what things I can improve, what navigation should I build, and what would make things more easy for them to use. So that was the answer for question number one. So yeah, now I would like to go in for the leadership part. So initially, I had my leader who was Sai Krishna. So but he left due to some situations. So after that, I was left alone. So with this team, which I was not capable of handling, I thought it to be that way. But like after that, when like nobody told me ki you should do it that way. Leaders do it that way. Like, but what I did instead, I tried to connect the dots, like what he used to do at that time when he was present, and what should I do in order to like to to have a smooth flow about what how things are going to be done and how things should be organized. So I started finding out what he used to do, and I started using the same techniques myself. Then also Tarun guided me, our mentor Hariharan sir, he guided us like how to do it. So after that, after I got all of those pointers, I could finally like connect the dots and frame out some of the like smooth processes that will that would like help me in this like maintaining this team. So initially there were like not lot many members in the team, so I was able to do that. But now, as Tarun mentioned, the team has grown in size. So yeah, I think this is a perfect moment where I could test my if I am a capable leader or not. And by leader, like I don't want that term leader to be imposed on myself. Rather than that, I want someone who likes to help everyone. I don't want to be a boss, but I want to be a friend who will help you in doing stuff. So basically that was about leadership, and third part would be like composer bhaiya. So that's the term we gave to that part of a software that we used to use. So basically we started our SDLMS from an open source code base called as NodeBB. So it's a forum software. So initially we had no idea about what this NodeBB is, how this thing works, because this was kind of an alien technology which does not use any like modern methods for neither UI or like nothing. There was nothing called as React. There was nothing called as like we can say like some fancy front end. But only the thing we knew is it uses like some database and it is based on Node.js. So in forum software, what really happens in forum software, we have one text editor. We can write some articles. We can post. We can comments and all. So NodeBB used that plugin called as Composer as the text editor. So whatever comments we like to make, whatever articles we like to make, whatever we like all the like content creation purposes, we used Composer. So initially that was our first encounter with the Composer, and we thought we can't move ahead without this Composer, and we are completely dependent upon that guy. So that's why we used to call them Composer Bhaiya, because without that guy we can't make new things. That was our initial approach. So after that we started digging out what this guy does, and can we make our own kind of a text editor. But at that phase we had very limited amount of knowledge, so we kind of gave up and we started modifying our existing Composer. So after that, like, we modified it so much that it did not contain anything of its own. He is a total new guy now, and he does like, if the founders of NodeBB or someone who built NodeBB comes and sees that Composer, he'll not able to find out is it our Composer or something else. So that's our journey with Composer. But yeah, now as we explored more, we did more research, we found out, yeah, there is always a way, but we just didn't knew it what was the way. But now we know the way. Yeah, we moved ahead without our Composer bhaiya. So yeah, that's it.
Anyone with questions for sure?
Hi, I'm Garima. I have a question for you. So
Yeah.
you told about how you changed your strategy in order to meet the customer's needs. So did you like because deep thought represents something which is very new and unique. Like, so did you change the deep thoughts motives in order to meet the customer's need, or like you made some? I mean, what kind of changes did you do?
Well, it basically it depends upon your end users, like what they want rather than what you want. So yeah, the product philosophy must be there, but always you should always care about your customers, like your end users who is going to use it. So from there like I got what to do next basically.
Garima, to answer your question, in deep thought, there's always that Tom and Jerry fighting between product team and UX team. The UX guy is like, अरे यार मेरा user ये नहीं समझेगा. Product guy is like, यार मैं future बना रहा हूँ और तुम्हारा user की पड़ी है. But end of the day, that balance, that fine balance is important, because you make something very futuristic, but no user is able to know how to use it. कौन use करेगा आपका technology को? So that fine balance of maintaining the product philosophy while making it easy for the user to use, I think is important. So you know what your product stands for. You want to give that power, but you figure out what the practical difficulties of the user are, and you find a way to solve the difficulties so the user can use it without too much of cognitive load.
Okay, but like you have to make sure, yeah, that the philosophy that your company represents, it's not like.
That's that Tom and Jerry fight which will always be there.
Yeah, and one quote I can mention, like, which every product researcher used to say, ये backend से आएगा. That was one of the most given excuses by everyone when like nobody was to figure out what to do with this thing actually.
Okay.
I didn't understand.
Yeah, like there were some functionalities that didn't exist, right? There were some things like what to do with this, how where will this component stand? Then like everyone used to duck it like by saying yeah backend se aayega.
They want it, but they won't tell you how it will happen.
Correct.
It's like there will be some magician in the back end who will somehow do this and give it to you. As in all the product research team would say, I want this, but they wouldn't tell how to do it. And these guys would like grill them with questions. And that's exactly why one product or one teaching intern and one software developer had to be together. Because the teaching intern thinks that, technology is like a Santa Claus or like that, Aladdin's lamp or something. And you say, chalo, give me this, and you get it. But the developer is a poor guy who has to actually make the product. So again, that's a Tom and Jerry between the product person and the developer. The product person is like, मुझे ऐसा AI चाहिए कि हर बच्चा एक आइंस्टाइन की तरह सोचेगा. The developer is like, भैया ये तो बताओ कि मेरा AI को करना क्या है. At least tell me what is this thing going to do. The teacher is like, no, we want this. And the developer is like, no. And then they break down, they have questions, and then they nail down. So the purpose of the teacher in the conversation is to diverge. They'll give a lot of ideas. The purpose of the developer is to converge. That's that healthy conflict which exists in the company. Innovation needs that healthy conflict. Yeah, next question.
I had a question in mind. So like as Shravan said that like when he first started working, so it was the node BP was neutral. So like was there any particular reason that whatever work we do, we chose the tech stack to be node BP? Like there are many other forum software available on the internet.
Point number one, a tech stack is not NodeBB. The code base is NodeBB.
Yeah. Okay. So last.
The difference between tech stack and you understand the difference between tech stack and code base?
No.
See, tech stack is the fundamental technology you're using, right? Are you using JavaScript? Are you using Python and so on? Code base is like somebody else has already written a code and they've opened up that code to the whole world. That's what is open source code, right? They've written the code and they've given it for you for free. So we have downloaded their code and we are modifying their code and doing it.
Okay.
So
Yes.
it's not a tech stack, it's the code base which we're modifying and using.
Yeah, okay. So was there any particular reason to choose NodeBB as the code base?
Yes. So I think the team took more than 2 weeks. Mr. Hariharan, Shravan, and the then tech interns were doing research for about 2 weeks. We realized Deep Thought is a platform which will work with a lot of assets. Today we have a lot of assets, but back then we were just, अंधेरे में तीर चला रहे थे. Okay, बहुत सारे assets आने वाले हैं. So how do we make something which will work with lot of assets? Then me and Hariharan, we were like, okay, so every asset can be treated like a blog. This was Hariharan's genius. He said every asset can be treated like a blog. All structured data, you can code it like a blog and treat it like a blog in the backend. And NodeBB has excellent, code for publishing software. You can create users, you can edit permissions of users. Without writing a single line of code, you can edit the permissions of users from the admin panel of NodeBB. So authentication of users, all of that NodeBB already has. So we don't have to spend our time on doing this mundane stuff. We can directly focus on the specific functionalities we want to build. So it gave us like 90% of what we wanted. Even messaging, NodeBB already has messaging. We're modifying that and using it right now. And fundamentally, as a startup, we don't need a backend architect right now because that architecture already exists in NodeBB. We just need a very good backend developer, which we have in Shravan, to leverage the architecture which is already there. This is one mistake which a lot of startups do. They try to build code from the scratch. They burn money. और फिर रोते हैं कि पैसा हो गया. But the secret to building products in a low cost is take an existing code base, modify it. So in limited time with limited human resources, you can build a product, show it to some users, get feedback. Once your product is stable, if you think you want to do an optimization, then maybe you can write the code again from the scratch. But initially, it makes no sense for you to write a code from the scratch. This is why we chose an existing code base. But why NodeBB? Because it had 90% of what we were looking for, and it's a very clean and abstract software. The way the folder structure and the way things are structured and all is, it's very interesting. It gives you a lot of possibilities to work with. Which is why when we were hiring backend developers also, one thing we were very sure that NodeBB is not an easy animal to tame. An average Joe is not going to know how to work with NodeBB. I think all of you were doing that, task with NodeBB and Nani Adai, right? The task was not very straightforward because you need to understand the folder structure well. So that's why we were looking for people with good abstract thinking and clear thinking. But the reason why we chose it is the possibilities it gives us. I hope this answers you. It gives most of what we want. Possibly there could be better softwares than NodeBB. We did some research for 2 weeks and went with it. But you know what? The idea is to make a decision. The idea is not to make the best decision. वरना क्या होगा 3 महीने रिसर्च करते रहोगे and it leads to what is called analysis paralysis. 2 weeks we were digging up. We found NodeBB. It had what we want. We went ahead.
What is NodeBB?
NodeBB is an open source code base. Using the code base, you can make publishing software.
Okay.
Because
Because
in the beginning, our tech mentor Hariharan realized this LMS is less of an LMS and more of a publishing software. His genius was in not thinking of it like an LMS. Because typical LMS, what technology they'll give you, they'll help you show a video, show some article, and help you conduct assessments. But our LMS was more of making kids write stuff. So that's when Mr. Hariharan said, let's not look for LMS, let's look for publishing softwares. His genius was in knowing where to search. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I think we are happy to move to the next presentation. Who wants to go ahead? Who wants to share your learning at Deep Thought? Yeah, Shagun, please go ahead.
So I'm Shagun and I'm a software, not front-end developer here. I joined 2 months before DT. And when I joined, I was like introvert, a girl who didn't say anything. And every time my mic keeps off. And when I joined now, you join DT, first thing you have to understand, take feedbacks and try to work on them. And definitely if you gain something and you change yourself with that feedback, what will happen? You'll get appreciated. That is the best thing I got. Means first time when I joined, I was in the team in which Harshvardhan was there. After 2 or 3 days, he told me, Shagun, I really want to say one thing. You have to work on in English. Means you have to work on that. But you have to know how you could articulate and do these stuffs. Then I was like, okay. And after 2 or 3 weeks, he came and he's like, Shagun, I'm seeing you really worked and now you can able to speak and the things are worked out. And I always take feedback from Tarun. He told me, I just hid into my mind, okay, I'll work on it. You can't work in one day, but you have to do something for that so that you do, and means personality development, body language. 1 week before, Palash told me, Shagun, now you are changed. Means just show your videos 1 month before and now, and there's change in your personality. I was like, okay, thank you. And about the software development and about my learning journey, what I have, when I came, I don't know anything. Means I'm in BTech final year. Yeah, I know some programming languages, JavaScript I didn't know. I don't know what is NodeBB, and when everyone talks about anything in tech team, it's like, kya baat kar rahe hain? I didn't understand. Okay, just sit, calm down. I write everything. Whatever they told, I write everything. Okay, one day I'll get something. And then one thing that everyone needs to do whatever task is given, don't try to solve it fatafat. Take some time, research it, what is it, and means lots of tasks were given in my initial days. Make some Excels and all. And most of my friends told me, "You're a software developer, and why you are making this Excel sheet? You know how to integrate API integration, you know? No. So I'm making this Excel sheet and I know what are the steps that are going to be there when you are making full-fledged website. These are the steps. API integration is part of that steps. And try to do every task with full of mind, take feedbacks, and lots of things I gain. Means while working on DT-thon, means I worked on with different teams. Means initially I worked with on a Figma file with Harshvardhan, and then Palash to build product, and then everything is gone. And then I worked with Pooja. Pooja is like consoling me everything, in everything. I got panic early, so she's like, "Okay, silent, no problem. We'll work together." So first thing you have to do is make friends. And Shavan, when I came now, I didn't know anything as I told. So I did some code, learn everything, do 1 or 3 week course, not JavaScript code that Shavan gave me. And after that, I just did small mistake. And what was my mistake? Spelling mistake. And every time I went to Shavan, I thought I did something blunder. I have to go to Shavan. And Shavan was like, "Shagun, again you had did some spelling mistakes. I'm not going to tell you, figure it out." I'm like, "No, please do it now." I'm like, no, this time I'm not going to tell you anything. Again, I search all my code, and again I went back. Shavan, no, I didn't do any spelling mistake. This time I did something blunder. Again, you find and tell, "Look, attribute names are different now." How you could say you did something blunder? Just check it out. Spelling mistakes are there. And if you're working on some code, try to revise everything. It happens. Small mistakes are done, and we thought it's something. And one thing that I got, don't stuck. Means if you got stuck in something, just take 5 to 10 minute break and then work on that code. It will help. And lots of stories are there, but yeah, this is fine for me. Thank you.
I have one question for Harsh and Shagun both. Harsh was asked to work on product or rather content marketing when he came in for a UI role. And Shagun was asked to work on some Excel sheets in the beginning. Why do you think you guys were asked to do this?
At first, I had no idea. I thought, as I said first, I'm like, "Oh my God, did I make a mistake?" But then I instantly realized that after, I don't remember who told me this, but a company, like when you work at a place with people with different departments, you don't just stick to your department. You're not just going to be a UX designer, or a UI designer, or a front-end developer, or a back-end developer. If I myself had not seen the side of the social media side, like what everyone was doing, I feel like I would not be able to do my job better, because it's like I understand the company and the product we have to deliver better when I also work with different departments. I don't know if that was clear or not, but that's what I feel like.
And from my side, means when I worked on Excel sheet now, first thing that I got whole understanding of NodeBB. Means I write each and every steps. What are the steps? What are the pages? How to organize and manage a product that I'm going to work on. In deep understanding of DT-thon came just because of making those Excel sheets. And whenever Hariharan sir told me, "You have to do this thing, you have to do this thing," he always told me to make Excel sheets. Just because I can understand. and he could understand. Always he told me, Shagun, if you do this now, then I can understand and you can also understand what is this and what we are going to do this. And then he suggests me, okay, here you are wrong. This is not like that. And then, so means for better understanding, it's important to make sheets and all.
Okay, I'll tell you one old joke at Deep Thought. I mean, our mentor and CEO, Yugandhar Reddy sir, used to tell me, you see, like, the PPT guys don't survive at Deep Thought. The doc guys don't survive at Deep Thought. It's the Excel guys who survive at Deep Thought. Because at Deep Thought, I mean, yes, we like so crazy behind Google Sheets that we even started using Google Sheets for graphic design. I'm not kidding you. We made templates of posters on Google Sheets and we were using Google Sheets to roll out posters very fast. For wireframes of products, Google Sheets. Worksheets for students, Google Sheets. Documentation of project, Google Sheet. It's like we have more than 2,000 Google Sheets right now in the company. And we hired like 5 interns who were in our finance team last year who were working on a fundraising. At that time, they took 45 days to make an encyclopedia of all our Google Sheets. A 5 to 6 member team took like 45 days. And they were literally the team which every intern was scared of and Deep Thought. Okay, none of these guys know because this happened in August. The old cohort was there. So they'd literally go bully everyone and say, chalo, jaldi nikalo sheet, jaldi nikalo sheet. They were sometimes rude because the other interns would not give them sheets quick. And they would collect sheets from everyone, ask what is in this sheet, why did you do it? And all of that, and they made an encyclopedia of it. So we use Google Sheets in a big way. And so much that now we have, I think Shawan and Deepansu and team have taken an open source code base of a spreadsheet and we're working on our own spreadsheet software now. Yeah, exactly. As Pooja said, we have our own spreadsheet software we're working on, which can be intelligent. Now, one question which might come to your mind is why that obsession about spreadsheets? Spreadsheets teach you to think at a block level, not at a sentence level, but at a block level. So how you put those blocks in a spatial arrangement, those blocks create a story for you. So in a way, spreadsheets can teach you design thinking and structured thinking at the same time if you use them in the right manner. It's like programming is a way of writing your logic, right? So spreadsheets give you another language of expressing your ideas. I would say spreadsheets are the second fastest. Spreadsheets are the second fastest after pen and paper to put your intuition into a document format. You'll have a lot of intuition in your head. If you're an innovator and if you're a creative person, you'll have a lot of intuitions. Creative people have intuitions. You want those intuitions to be documented properly so other people can share your intuition. You have your intuition of how you think your product has to go, but you want other people to join your intuition. You want other people to join your intuition. Now, this creativity and intuition are extremely important to thrive in an innovation environment. But no, if you want to go into a TCS, Infosys, Cognizant kind of environments and nobody's stopping you. We Indians are known for donkey work globally. That if you have donkey work, give it to Bangalore. Bangalore will do it at the cheapest cost. But I certainly believe that there's a new kind of an India which is emerging today. A new kind of an India which is a center for innovation and which is a center for products. And hopefully, I think creativity and intuition will play a huge role. Because again, what is India famous for? India is famous for intuition. Steve Jobs also came to India to study intuition. If you guys have watched that movie Jobs, he wanted to study Eastern mysticism. He wanted to study Eastern mysticism to perfect his intuition, and the rest is history, as they say, right? The kind of revolutions is brought out in technology. So at 2016 McKinsey report says that 2015-16, somewhere around that time, it says 40% of Silicon Valley startups were started by Indian founders. 40% Silicon Valley startups were founded by Indian startups. So why can't we have Silicon Valleys in India? I believe if Indian youngsters like all of you, all of us, can start thinking of innovation and intuition and creativity, that is when I think we can build a lot of wealth in India. Why should you think of innovation? Think about it. California state's GDP, I think in 2019 or 2020 was $3 trillion. India's GDP in the same year was $2.9 trillion. One single state in US had more GDP than India come together. That is the power of innovation. Innovation builds economic prosperity, which is why today Indian government is also talking of innovation, of nurturing innovation, and so on. So at Deep Thought, we again try to nurture that innovation in everyone, because innovation does have an economic impact. We're not doing it as charity. We're doing it as a driver of economic growth. And, Amazon does that, Facebook does that, Google does that, world's best companies do that. They nurture innovation culture within the company because that innovation is the driver of economic growth. Yeah. So questions for Shagun. I'm sure a lot of you have questions for her because her story was very humanistic, right? Of conquering fears, of trying to finally find a place. So those are questions. Go ahead. Yeah. Questions? The two things I'll tell you. One, a doubt is what you ask when you don't understand. A doubt is something which you ask when you don't understand. A question is something you ask because you want to grow your understanding. You already understand, but you want to grow. That is why you ask a question. When you don't understand, what you ask is called a doubt. Doubts don't let you grow. Questions actually let you grow. Maybe doubts also contribute to growth, but very little. Doubts are like a scooter, but questions are like an aeroplane, much faster with respect to your growth. And second thing is innovation and curiosity always coexist. Innovation and curiosity always coexist. So those of you who want to thrive in innovation environments, go ahead, ask your questions. I'm sure all of you have questions in your head, but you might be censoring your own questions. So stop being the censor board. Go ahead and ask your questions.
Shagun, you said that you were taking feedbacks from everyone in order to improve. So was it just your teammates or like you were taking it random?
Couldn't go everywhere that I have to take feedbacks from everyone. If you are working in DT now, you will understand after a week, your team will be changed. And in a 1 month, you will work with each and every member of the team in DT. So that you'll understand each and every person thinking and how they work and what you can get from there. So taking feedback in 1 month is easy. I took feedback from everyone while working with other teams.
Okay, thank you.
I wanted to ask that feedback was an option. Were there any other things that you were considering at that point about growing in terms of what you were doing or projects that you were building? Other than feedback, did you did anything differently?
Yeah. When you start working in this culture, what you will get in 1 day, you will get 100 of words that you didn't understand. Means you didn't understand what they are talking. What you have to do, you have to grow curious person and innovative thinker in yourself so that you, in your emotions and feelings, that excites what you are going to do with those words. Means that feeling came or that thing came that you have to explore these words. You have to know what is this topic. So that will be best thing. So if you got 100 words in 1 day, in 6 hours, you got 100 words. It's just a big thing. So you have to write it down, work on it. And if you talk about the project that I started working on, DT-thon. So initially, the context of DT-thon I didn't understand. I got badly scolded because I don't understand what is it. So first you have to understand the project that you are working on. Try to grow innovator in yourself to work on it. So that apart from feedback, there are lots of things that you will learn if you are working there.
As you, hello?
Yeah, just one moment. I want to just add on to what Shagun was saying. So I think what she's trying to say is because people who worked in deep thought for like 6 months and more use their intuition very heavily. And when someone speaks through their intuition, somehow you don't get what they're trying to say. It takes some time to tune your mind to operate in that innovation and intuition led sort of a space. And when she was working on DT-thon, the person who scolded her was me, because I like explained it to her in 3 or 4 different ways, and she was still not getting it. I was like, this is very simple. Why are you looking for spoon feeding? Take notes, think about it, try to understand it. It's simple. Why are you complicating it? And today she realizes that it's actually simple, but she just needed that right way of looking at it so that she can get a hang of the concept. And today I think she and Pooja are doing quite well, with the guidance of Shawan and Deepansu with DT-thon. So I think it takes some time to operate with people who, work with intuition. See, how else will you create a new product which is not a copy-paste product? It is somebody's intuition, right? It only lives in somebody's brain. It doesn't exist anywhere in the real world. So to connect with people, to connect with their intuition, I think is the initial challenge which developers face. And this is very tough for developers because as a developer, you live on clarity. Because your computer, the machine, which is your best friend, which you work with every day, wants clarity. But the product manager you live with is like living in some castles that mujhe ye chahiye, I'm making this AI, pura duniya ko main badalne wala hu and all of that. So that bridging between the visionary who's building the product and the computer, I think it takes some time to understand how to tune yourself as an innovator to bridge that gap. And there are various processes in workshops introduced to. So which is why, if you notice, a lot of our trainings would be around psychology, so that you know how to tune your brain.
Okay, basically based on innovation and intuition. Okay.
Coding is important because if end of the day you can't code that intuition, it's of no use. But along with coding, improving innovation and intuition is very important. I mean, for developers, product managers, nani yaad aayegi. Product manager role in deep thought is the toughest role here because you have to work with almost everybody in the organization to drive the product. That's the core strength of the organization.
Yes, looking forward.
Yeah.
In a way, Tarun has answered my question, but still I'll go for it. Shagun, as you said, you were introvert earlier when you joined the DT. I'm asking, like, in how would you say that DT has shaped your personality after joining the DT?
When I joined now, I don't know how it happens. Actually, I don't know. Means when I joined, I just sit like this. My hand are bound like this. I sit like this. I don't know why I'm being afraid or anything. I just sit like this. And I put my pen and start writing or anything, and I just sit like this. But the hands that opens now, that is the best thing that grows your personality. And in DT, after each and every workshop, not workshop with my team, we are 4 to 5 members work every day. But after a town hall workshop, my hands start opening and I sit like this. That brings me to speak something, and I can keep my mics on, or it drives me to keep your mic on and speak in front of 30 to 40 people. Yeah, so that is the best thing. And how I got it, if you saw a face of Tarun, then he'll be like, he's talking to me only. He's trying to push something and take out from me like this in a meeting. Yeah, in a meeting, there are 30 people, but if you hear his words now properly, then he will be like, you'll get something from him. So this is how I changed myself.
Can I ask one question? Before joining DT, what did you think about it? Like, what were you hoping for it would be?
Actually, I was in third year, and I just don't know what I'm going to do. And then I started, okay, fine, I have to take admission. I have to do masters. Still, I have to do masters, but I have to take admissions in IIT or anywhere. Means I have to qualify GATE exam with decent rank. Then I take admission in IIT. Not IIT, maybe I go to abroad to study. So this was my thinking. In my third year till fourth year, means GATE exam is just over now in February. So I just give that exam, studied hard, and in that 1 year, I was like this. No, didn't talk to anyone. Just cut out of from my friends. I just one goal was there. I have to qualify that exam. When I came, when I just gave that exam, I was start searching for internship. Means I have to get out from this study. I don't know what is going I'm going to do. I just have to get out from this books and all. So I found first internship as a DT. And when I talk now, you wondered, first question that was asked, what is CRUD operation? And Shaban was like, I don't know CRUD operation. I was like, CRUD operation, how anyone, I don't know what is CRUD operation. I didn't study, I studied Node maybe in my second year, first year. I don't know what is CRUD operation. Then I searched, after that talk, I searched, okay, what is, OMG, it's create, delete, and remove, update. How can anyone can don't know? It's simple DBMS thing, man. And in the 7th day of observation, I like that culture because here no one's talk about study. Means here study is not like books, study, you have to prepare for exam. Study is like fun. Means you can explore, you can learn any topic. Means you're amazed that one day in some workshop, I studied theory of computation. Theory of computation is vast subject. And the great analogy that I got is I was studying theory of computation, I think with tea, coffee, and some how to make tea, this kind of analogy. I forget that, but that time I like that. So have you ever think that states, finite state automata and DFA is going to be tea and coffee in your hand? So this is how DT in DT culture we learn, and that's why that stops me here. After 2 or 3 weeks, I was like, I have to leave this internship. I don't want to work here. I have to do something else. Then it stops me here. I'm still sitting here because here I'm not studying. That don't get pain in my head. I'm just studying, not studying, just taking subjects as a fun. Now I can study. Yeah, I qualified GATE exam with around 3,000 and 4,000 rank, and I stopped working. Means I was like, no, I can't able to qualify that exam, and I'm not able to get my masters or anywhere from anywhere. But after coming here, I was working here and studying also. And now I'm trying to build models with my subjects and topics. What could I do? Okay, now how could I make tea and coffee in this operating system topic? So that was fun. Means you'll learn everything here. How to make mind models in your subjects.
Okay, in the interest of time, the next presentation. Looks like this was the most popular one so far, a lot of questions. The next presentation, please.
I would like to go in. So, I am a good student at college. Like I do little good at my college. But when I joined Deep Thought, I realized that there is one thing that my college didn't teach me. That is integration. I always thought that in front end we do HTML and CSS. Integration is not part of front end. So when I joined DT, I realized that integration is something that front end developer needs to know, and college doesn't teach us. College doesn't show us the reality. Uh, uh, then Shagun, Shagun, I call her my work sister. She helped me to understand how exactly integration works. Dipanshu is someone who inspires me every single day, because whenever I go with a doubt, he has this pitaras of link. He pulls out one link and give it to me. I go refer this, you'll understand everything. And uh, yeah, tech god. He's like tech god. Dipanshu is a tech god. He knows everything. Like, even if I don't explain my doubt clearly to him, he will just get it, and I don't know how he get it. It's just experience. So some things always comes in front of us when we experience those things. Like doing integration is part of the front end. I only realized when I explored, when I gained that experience. So at initial point of your career, one thing is, we don't need to rush. We need to wait. We need to understand. We need to take it a little slow and try to learn things one by one. That's how that's what I realized. And secondly, DT has like really friendly people. No matter how foolish your doubt is, no matter how naive your question is, they will always help you. So that's what helped me to grow. And I believe you all are going to enjoy our friendly environment, and surely this will help you to grow.
Anyone has a question? We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Unplug and replug your earpiece. You're on mute. You're on mute. Unplug and replug.
Shall I ask to them?
Sure.
As you said, you were like a good student in college, so you must have had like some expectations from the DT, and also like how much of them have come true?
Expectations from the
DT from DT.
Ask a standard question.
Sorry?
It's like this is a standard question for everyone. You ask the same to Shagun as well, right? Just joking.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, Pooja.
Because this is my first internship, I was a little scared initially because I don't really know how work environment actually is. And DT is little different from other companies, I believe. And it is like very much product oriented. There is a lot of philosophy going on. So it is really different. I don't have experience, so I can't even tell you what was my expectations were not. I mean, I was not expecting anything as now. Like, I don't know how can I answer your question.
I would like to ask that can you elaborate on the point that you said about product oriented?
So product oriented, as in, like, we first understand the philosophy while building a product. We always have a philosophy behind our product, and understanding the product, keeping product as our priority, understanding it. And even like there are many people who work on the user experience, UI. We try to understand how our product is going to help others, how our product is going to change the world. That is what we more focus on. That's why I say Deep Thought is more product oriented, where there is philosophy and we have a lot of detailed workshop. We have a lot of brainstorming workshops behind each and every product. That's why I call it product oriented.
Okay, Parvinder, I'll give you a simpler answer. I think one reason why she'll call it product oriented is that's the word you'll sort of hear once every 60 seconds. Like everything is like product. You know, you do something like ऐसा नहीं करते हम product company, हम ऐसा करते हैं. Earlier, you're dozing off in a session on psychology. हम product company है, service company नहीं है. यहाँ पे ये psychological thought process चाहिए होता है आपको. And then you're doing something else. Like हम product company, हमें ये सीखना पड़ेगा ताकि हम ये कर सकते हैं. So it's like Shravan spoke of composer bhaiya, no? So something like that.
Yes.
Is that one thing, you know, that product is that one thing you hear again and again and again कि brainwash हो जाता है कि okay हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हम product बना. Jokes apart, it's like, see, when you're building a product, and that was 0 to 1 product, it doesn't exist anywhere in the world. You're the first one to create it. So initially all that you have is speculation. मेरा product ये करने वाला है, मेरा product ये करने वाला है, मैं ये change करने वाला हूँ, and all of that, right? My product is going to do this, I'm going to change the world and all of that. You just have speculation. Then what happens is people meet, people talk, you write down all your assumptions in one place. Then suddenly what happens is after 1 week, the product devta comes and blesses you, in the sense that suddenly the dots connect and the wireframes just reveal themselves to you. Okay, let me go over this again. Okay, welcome to the world of intuition. So it's like you just meet, you just talk. You meet, you talk. And whatever you talk, you make Google Sheets. You just keep writing, you keep writing. You have no bloody clue of what your product is going to look like, what your wireframe is, how many screens are there, what is the logic, what APIs are needed. You have no bloody clue. Except that, you know, it feels like, you know, J.K. Rowling के बाद next आप ही आने वाले हैं in terms of as a writer. आपको लगता है कि you're being a writer and not a developer. कि बस I'm writing, मेरा product ये करेगा, not taking notes. Then suddenly after 1 week or 10 days, the product devta blesses you. Suddenly, okay, this is my wireframe. Okay, this is what I should do. Magically, it happens to you. So it's like there's that moment of, see, I'll tell you the moment of intuition, how it works. Okay, do you guys know, I mean, according to you, who was the most intuitive genius to have ever lived on this planet? The most intuitive genius to have ever lived on this planet. There's one man born on December 23rd who unfortunately passed away at the age of 32. There's another man, you guys know, Steve Jobs. But there's one man who was one of the greatest intuitive geniuses to ever walk on this planet. He lived only 32 years, but that was good enough. No, Einstein lived quite long.
Ramanujan?
Absolutely. Yeah, Vivekananda also lived very short, but yeah, Ramanujan was an intuitive genius. Uska intuition aisa tha, you give him a problem, he closes his eyes and he can see a solution. How, even he doesn't know. That's why when people went and asked him, how do you solve all these problems? He says, in sleep at the night, goddess of Namakkal comes and writes the proofs on my tongue. He would say this, the goddess of Namakkal comes and writes the solutions of man's problems on my tongue, and that's how I get it. Because that stroke of intuition, right, as I call it, that stroke of intuition, as Raghuram Rajan, okay, trust me, this is exciting. Raghuram Rajan in one video, he says, it's like you're working on a problem, Parvinder. You lock yourself in a room for 4 days. You're banging your head to the nearest wall you can find, a solution there, solution there. You're just not getting any solution, right? For 4 days, you're locked in a room. You don't get an idea. Suddenly, पूरा 4 पेज का solution आया था. 4 पेज का solution आया था. And you're like, I was an idiot. Why didn't I think of this in the beginning? You feel solution तो इतना simple है, but मिला क्यों? That's exactly how innovation space is for you. Initially वो pain वाला curve रहती है, उसके बाद you get that solution. Initially there's a curve of pain and then you get the solution. So in a product company, the dynamics are completely different. The psychology of people is completely different. Because you are in a service company, you have your wireframes very clear, right? donkey work करना है, successful donkey work करना है, write the code quickly, submit done. Product company, product देवता का blessings के लिए wait करना है. And how do you wait? Write the document. Write the document. What the assumptions are. Why are we doing this?
Brainstorm and writing.
Brainstorm. And again, you brainstorm for too long. Again, the reporting manager comes and says, you're not in a philosophy club. You're in a company. Product banao. You can't just go that brainstorming tangent only. Again, at the same, see, you don't brainstorm, you become very linear in thinking. But you brainstorm too much, you'll be all over the place, you'll not converge. So that balance becomes important in a product company.
In a way, for intuition, like we have to run that thought that many times. Like there's no specific number, but you have to run it many, as you said, like you have to write and write and write. So we have to, and it has to go to our subconscious in a way. Like,
and it's not how crazy you are.
Yeah.
In the year
like,
2019, in the year 2019, I went to schools, I did teacher training workshop. I would sit in staff rooms and see what teachers talk. I would go to parents, I would try to understand what parents think and all. I would do crazy things to just get an intuition of what people do.
It is also said like to be a genius, you need both chaos and discipline. To take example by Einstein, you need the chaos to think of E equal to MC square. Then you also need discipline to do the maths. Come home and do the maths. Yeah.
Next presentation. Who wants to go in?
Yeah, I'm good. So I'll kind of expand on what you just said, but so I'll start with an analogy. So you like sometimes you must have had that one annoying friend who just asks why. Like no matter what you say, he just asks why. So even if you say my name is Arbas, he'll ask why. So here you're kind of like you should not ask annoying question, but you should keep asking questions, because you're not just making something or you're not writing code, you're building something. And in everything you're whatever you work on, you're always encouraged to make it your own. I mean, what's the fun of making anything if you're not making it your own anyways? But yeah, so, and also the second thing is if you don't ask, like, you're not only building the product, but you're also building yourself up, you're growing yourself. So always like asking that question is really important. And if you see anyone here, you won't, they like, no one will just tell you an answer and just leave. They'll always tell you a why, and they like give their thought process. And yeah, so if you need any clarification, you should ask for it. And
Arbaz, I can understand you're trying to express your intuition, and that's not easy. So people ask questions just to make Arbaz life a little easy. Go ahead with the questions.
If I may ask, Arbaz, what is your role?
I'm a front-end developer. I mean, yeah. I'm moving towards full stack, but currently front-end.
Yeah, I gave you an API task. Deadline is tomorrow evening.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Becoming full stack. Tomorrow evening has a deadline of making an API and integrating it. Yeah.
As far as I know, you were in DT long back. So how's your journey till now?
Tomorrow will be my completion of my 4th month, and how my journey is. So first month was confusing. Sometimes it's like very frustrating because you're learning. I liked psychology, but marketing and stuff I just couldn't understand. But when you sit through it a few more times, when you try to understand, like when you, it's not even like sit through it, but when you sit with it and you work on something else, you keep working, you'll connect a lot of stuff which you won't connect in the moment. And like, you know, just listening to that and making notes of it, when you, as you work on other stuff, you'll connect it. And that's like, now I'm like, yeah, I've grown so much, and I know it.
Can you give us, like, as interns, tips on how to ask good questions?
Firstly, there are no good questions or bad questions. All questions are welcome. But yeah, it's a okay. My only tip would be uh, try to always ask what questions, but uh, again, clarification questions, you can probably find them elsewhere also, and you can always ask. Of course, there are a lot of things which are only DT exclusive, so of course ask. But asking those why questions, like, try to always understand where someone is coming from, and if you're when you get the answer, always be open to rebutting. Like, if you think differently, always speak out, and then you'll get another answer. So don't, like, if your doubt is not cleared, or if you have something that is going against it, please speak up. You'll get.
Ryan, a small advertisement of Deep Thought. Our teachers run this learning by questioning course. So yeah, you might want to drop in some time. So we have a 30-page curriculum, a 60-hour curriculum on art of questioning. 60-hour curriculum on the art of questioning. It's a 5-year-old curriculum. We developed it in 2017, even before Deep Thought was incorporated. Next question. Anyone who has a question, unmute.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. Baz, I would like to ask you, like, what are the challenges have you met since you joined this company?
Okay. So yes, well, in tech, by tech, I'll just say that I think in my second day of observation, I was seeing Sai and Shavan. They were sharing their screen and coding. So uh, I saw a dollar sign on the screen, and I asked them what that dollar sign is, and they said it's a jQuery sign. So this I have said this before, but in that moment I felt so dumb because I did not even know what that sign meant. But they said it like so normally, like it. Yeah, you don't have to worry about. Like, they explained it so well and everything. So, and challenges was just, I think, mostly my personal ones. I if you'll hear this more, but I am still, like, I don't speak too much, and I'm working on it. So yeah, that's one thing. But other than that, in the starting, it was hard for me to understand, like, where everything, like, why I'm learning what I'm learning, and growing out of that mentality of learning for a reason was my biggest challenge. And yeah, I think I'm much better at it now.
You spoke a lot, Arbaz. Yeah. Next question.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my voice audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, and even the people like who came before, they mentioned that at times it was difficult for and it was frustrating at times because the pressure was too high. So how did you deal with that, and what was the thing that kept you all moving forward in TT?
And the thing that kept me moving forward the most was the people. It wasn't just that. So I saw okay, so I saw, like, a lot of people. We sometimes we can get scolded, right? And sometimes we'll get scolded in front of everyone. But when you go and ask those people, they are never upset about it. Everyone is always like, you'll never be taken. So this is something that Palash told me once. You'll never be taken out of a project just because you made a mistake. It's only a chance for you to do it better. And that's so, yeah, that kind of, like, drive in everyone to, no matter what happens, and no matter when you speak to them, no matter what kind of mood they are in, everyone is always open to help you. And yeah, everyone wants to always make the product. So yeah, that's what kept me going.
Okay. One more question. I think you like to be an employee here in Deep Throat, right?
Sorry, can you say that once again?
I'm saying like I think you like being a member of
Yeah.
Deep Throat. I would like to ask you like what are the characters of another company that would like to hire you so that you can proceed your career there? What would you expect from there that you didn't find in Deep Throat?
Didn't. I don't think there's anything I haven't found in deep thought. From
Okay.
yeah, from tech to non-tech, everything is amazing.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's a sign of intimidation if the answer is there's nothing. But I hope, we work out in a way that people are safe enough to share their perspectives. But yeah, I do believe there are a lot of limitations in deep thought being a startup. I think there are a lot of check boxes we wouldn't be able to tick. But yeah, I think we're trying to make most of the existing resources we have and push forward. Next question.
I had a question for Tarun sir. So you said earlier that you made a spreadsheet software of your own. So what made you do that? Like
So
why do you need it?
we are making it. अभी कुछ नहीं है. There's just one empty spreadsheet there. We're still making it. The reason is we have found many use cases of a spreadsheet. We use it in so many different places, and some of the existing technologies in a way limiting us. So we felt if we can reimagine the spreadsheet for innovation and make it the way we are using it, probably it can fuel even more innovation.
Okay.
See, what I firmly believe, I don't come from a computer science background. I come from a theoretical computer science background. Theoretical computer science is a branch of mathematics. So I basically come from a maths background. So from that sense, from that theoretical sense, what I certainly believe is technology changes the behavior of people. When you use Excel sheets, you think in one way. When you use a database, you think in a different way. Because in a database, you write query operations and all. Anybody, there are many backend developers here, right? How many of your backend developers raise your hand? Okay, there are a lot of backend developers. No, raise your hand. Zoom allows you to raise your hand. Srijit, I thought you're a backend developer. Zoom allows you to raise your hand. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But you can call me Tarun. We all go by first names here. So yeah, so many backend developers. So I'm sure you'll agree with me that ever since you started working with MongoDB, your way of looking at the world changed a bit. There's a new language of thinking of sorts which database teaches you. So in that sense, when we create products, right, Garima, our intention of building products is to change the psychology of people. See, let me put it to you in a simple way. Are Facebook and Instagram spoiling people?
Well, see, it depends like how you look at it.
But 90% of the crowd are getting spoiled.
Yes.
Yes.
What if we reimagine products which can change the psychology of the people in a positive way? That's exactly what our mobile app is doing. We're launching our mobile app in maybe 3 weeks. Arbaz has to tell us when we're launching it. His deadline is tomorrow. But yeah, we're launching our own mobile app, and that has a very different approach to newsfeed and so on. So my idea is every product changes people's thinking in one way. So spreadsheet is a product which makes people think in structured way, think in design thinking oriented way, and makes people think of innovation. The way I look at spreadsheet is for electronics. Okay, how many electronics students here? Anyone? Electronic students? Any electronic students? Great. How important is a breadboard for you?
It's basically all the experiments
Everything happens on your breadboard. You can make any circuit on your breadboard.
Yes, every circuit.
Exactly. So for me, a spreadsheet is like an innovator's breadboard. I have ideas, I can make ideas using a spreadsheet. So that's exactly why we wanted to build an innovator's breadboard. Okay. Anyone else wants to present? I think Palash is due.
Yeah, I'll do it one-on-one. I think because I have a lot of stories to share and I don't want to bore
Okay.
you.
I think everyone is happy to listen. So go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I'll share one of the first stories that really, blew my mind. So we were discussing about, once again, building new products. And one of the product was a metacognitive engine. Okay. And the toughest question from that session I heard was, Palash, what do you understand by an engine? And how would you make a metacognitive one? And that was the question. Like, I didn't even imagine how can I ask that? How can someone answer that? You know, and so, and similarly, many such discussions went on. That just like Tarun said, when you have a hammer in your hand, you begin to treat everything as a nail, or whenever you have a knife in your hand, you want to stab at everything. So the technologies or the frameworks that we are building, we are shaping our thinking into, we are nudging a user to think in that particular direction. And some of those directions were so new to me that after the meeting, I just, raised my hand. I took my hand in the hair in my hands, and I just took a sip of water. So, so these are the levels of questions that not just interns ask you, but students ask you. There is a very important ritual that whenever we build a product, primarily as product researchers, whenever we have a product idea in our mind, we present that product to children, and they bring in at least 10 to 15 unanswerable questions to us that we have never even thought of. Okay, maybe this is the problem. And those questions can be as simple as, why is there a light blue color in the top left corner? It should be in the bottom right corner. This looks better. So that is my fondest, memories that really blew my mind. And there were a lot of ups and downs, of course. Since I've been with Deep Thought for quite a long time, there have been lots of ups and downs here. And the thing is, whenever you fail to do something at Deep Thought, we do something called social reflection around it. And those learnings are taken out so that, basically it's an embodiment of the code that wise people learn from others' mistakes, while foolish people, normal people learn from their own. So we are trying to build wise people by learning from others' mistakes. And this is what, brings me back every time, that probably we are doing something that I have thought was possible only in my dreams. Just something small.
Okay. You talk of finishers, and I don't think we could have thought of a better finisher, giving those nice and dense insights, and you wanted to withhold them. Okay, Palash, I have one question before others ask a question. What are the different things you did at Deep Thought? Teaching, product, UI, and
a bit of marketing. And nowadays I'm heavily involved with the product team. I don't write codes, but at least I begin to understand how codes are structured, basically.
You attended that JavaScript course which our team was running.
Yeah. All those different workshops taken by students, taken for students.
Yeah, so teaching, UI, product, marketing, customer relations. So kind of covered the spectrum. Yeah. By the way, Ryan, Palash was also teaching that learning by questioning curriculum. So, yeah. Palash started off his journey in Deep Thought through a teaching internship. He used to teach in Deep Thought and then moved into the product team. In fact, most of our product team started with teaching and then moved into productivity. Questions for Palash? Questions for Palash?
If you can explain metacognitive engine itself, like I even don't know what it is. Like what is an engine?
So, Saurabh, the thing with DT is we never give direct answers. No spoon feeding, we frown upon it. So, Saurabh, let me ask you, what is the role of engine in a vehicle?
Like it leads like matlab, it pulls the other like whatever is behind.
Yeah, exactly. Without the engine, there is nothing to drive it. Right? So, so if you put it that way, it's something that drives metacognition. Okay. Now then we break down metacognition. So meta is basically going one step above it.
Yeah.
And cognition is basically related to thinking, logical related stuff, as opposed to emotions, right? So something that makes you think about thinking is a metacognitive.
Yeah, so, it was in the PDF. The PDF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is how this is how we approach each of our brainstorming sessions, by asking continuous questions. And half of the time when we face questions, we have no answers to it. But okay, one more thing I learned about DT. Before, I never used to have a lot of debates or dialogue with people, because for me, debates was always about putting someone down or proving myself right. But here at Deep Thought, discussion is something that we do to collectively improve our knowledge or intelligence. And that is something very unique here I found. And I really treasure this. And I would like to invite you guys to also engage in healthy discussion.
Okay.
I would ask that how was your switching experience from like a teaching job to a full product manager role?
It's never a
basically, why did you switch?
Oh, I was given the opportunity to switch. Palash, would you like to do this? And it was Parinder basically taking all the experiences that I've learned from my teaching and transforming it into a product. It was never not teaching for me. Whenever I teach students, I have some things, some principles that I keep in mind. And as a product developer or a product researcher, it was my responsibility and my duty to take all those experiences and breathe them into the product that we're building. So it was never a clean transition. I still think of myself as a teacher primarily.
So you were studying like teaching and then basically contributing to the product role.
Yeah.
And so I would just say that how would you say some words to just someone who is just getting into directly product management from a complete from a different stream, like not having that physical experience that you have had to contribute to all the product meetings and product thinkings?
Then start with being a teacher. Start observing a lot of classes. I think that's the first step.
Okay.
We take lots of classes, right? Be a part of those classes. Actively engage in those classes. See what students enjoy, what students don't particularly enjoy about the teacher, and there you have your problem statements, challenges, and everything.
Okay, understood.
Everybody teaches a deep thought. I said everybody teaches a deep thought.
Okay.
At least, the tech team teaches internally. They conduct an internal workshop. Anybody who wants to learn can come it.
In a way, teaching, right?
I consider myself a teacher first and an entrepreneur second. Next question.
I have a question for Palash. Palash, out of all the roles that you have been part of, or had the opportunity of taking under you, I guess, I don't know the right word to, like, how to articulate it, but what has been the most challenging out of them, and how did you overcome that specific challenge?
Oh, I mean, each one gave me unique set of challenges that I never thought existed in the world in the first place. But two of those tasks were particularly difficult. Teaching students below class 5, and having to hold their engagement and their interests, and defending all the product ideas that we have built to external stakeholders. I initially found them very difficult. Whenever a potential investor or a new teacher seemed to want to join us, initially we went on. These are all the features that we had, and those teachers, they were not particularly, they didn't get the whole picture. But when we began with the problem statement and our approach to the solution, then suddenly all the features began to make sense to them. So providing that holistic picture was initially very challenging.
One last question, if someone has. Go ahead, ask your questions. You ask more questions, you become popular in deep thought. People realize, okay, I need to go take my product to this guy. This guy will help me shape my product.
So I had a question.
It looks like 3 of them fell from a bed. Yeah, go ahead.
So I wanted to ask, as a product manager, do you look at other products, other companies' products, what they are building, and are you able to find some lessons from those products to inculcate in deep thought?
Of course. I mean, in the end, if you're talking about taking up, suppose there is a mobile app. So we took a lot of notification ideas, the way LinkedIn presents it. So we really like that, but we added our own flavor to it, because I think once it happened that due to some time restrictions, we somehow made an exact copy of another website, and frankly, and it didn't really tie up to the original product, the product philosophy that we have. Okay. So basically, I'm trying to tell you is we look at different products, of course, but we always try to ask, how can I make this feature or this learning truly our own? How can we incorporate a deep thought flavor into it?
So like you go and ask customers and you try to find out what is lacking in the product. So in spite of doing that, you can look at other companies, look what they do and what kind of feedback they get from their customers.
Garima, I think what Palash was trying to say is, yes, we do interact with some sample group of customers. Yes, we look at products, we look at Intern, we look at LinkedIn, we look at various products and we see how they're solving problems. But what Palash is trying to say is, when we look at a product, we don't try to just take inspiration from other products. We try to reason from the first principles. We try to ask, what is it my product is trying to solve and how would I want to do it? Let me give you an example. When we were making the feed feature for a product, the first reaction was to look at Facebook and see what Facebook is doing, and then look at LinkedIn and see what LinkedIn was doing. Then what happened is the UI became a copy of Facebook. And I asked, guys, let's take a break for 3 days. Let's get out of this problem for 3 days and let's ask ourselves again, if this is what we want to solve, and how would we make it? For the same problem, this is how Facebook makes it. But if we want to make it, how would we make it? Then we asked ourselves questions like, what does our user want to do on this page? Then we wrote down, okay, these are the functionalities we want on this page. Then we asked which are the important functionalities for the user? What does the user want to see first? Then we got our UX objective sorted. Once we got our UX objective sorted, then we started looking at our UI. Okay, these are the problems I want to solve. How can I solve this problem from a UI perspective? So we didn't go by, okay, which other product is solving this problem? How are they solving? Yeah, we did see that. But again, we came back to the drawing board and asked, what is the problem we want to solve? If I have to solve this problem, how would I create it? Now, let me quote Elon Musk here. In one of the talks, Elon Musk says this. The secret of his success, he's built 4 $500 billion companies, right? So he said his secret is thinking through first principles. A lot of people get through life through thinking through analogy. Thinking through analogy means you compare your idea with another idea and you get away with it. We all need thinking through analogy, otherwise you'll not have mental peace. You'll need to find an asylum if you don't resort to thinking through analogy. But again, if you get confined to thinking through analogy, what happens is you don't have that 0 to 1 innovation. You don't end up solving those problems. But if you go to thinking through first principles, you start going back to the fundamental truths, the most basic truths, and you start reasoning from there to figure out how you want to be doing it. Like as I said, the most basic questions I asked is, why is my customer doing this? How does my customer want to be doing this? I'm not talking to actual customer. I'm asking myself. But to know my customer, I would have had enough conversations with my customer. I would have spent time talking to my customer to know my customer. But when I sit with my product, I sit with myself. And I ask myself these questions. Then I present it to some other person. While presenting it to a person, that thought slowly emerges and then the wireframe emerges. So the way we do products is a very, very different thing. It's like intuition-led product, which none of the product management courses in the world would, teach you that. It's like, what if you go and run a course and say it's about, we do a few things and say, hey, Devta, hey, product Devta, give me the product. This is our approach to product management. You'll be like, okay, this guy, these people are sick, but that's exactly our approach to product. We do certain processes and then we wait for that intuition to kick in. So we don't just go by external products. We study them. We study them to understand various good practices which people follow. But again, end of the day, when we build products, we build it from the scratch. We build it with our own thought process. So for example, LinkedIn has its own newsfeed. Then we asked ourselves a question, when I watch my newsfeed, why don't I get a say of what I want to read in my newsfeed? What if I want to read about leadership on my newsfeed? So we said we'll do readership empowerment, reader empowerment. We'll let the reader choose what topic the reader wants to read in the newsfeed.
So are you personalizing it? Like, is it just a thought process? Like you're trying to do it, but like it's not done, but you're on the process of doing it. So,
no, again, when is it going to come out? You'll have to ask Arbaz. He has a deadline tomorrow evening. So whenever he does it, he'll give you the APK file, run it and see it. You're probably 24 hours away from giving you that product.
okay.
So you've come at the right time. He has a deadline tomorrow evening to give you that mobile app. And even now he's like, yeah, meeting kab khatam hoga, mujhe jaake mera product complete karna. Yeah. He and Shavan have that deadline. There were 3 people. One guy took a leave, so these 2 have to complete it now. Yeah. Okay. The other guy just finished his 12th grade. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not here today due to an emergency, but yeah, I'm sure you would have loved speaking to him too. He started his internship with us when he was in his 12th grade. And he's a full stack developer with us. I'm not kidding. He just finished his 12th grade and is a full stack developer with us. And not only full stack, now he's learned a little bit of React Native and he wants to get into that mobile app development also. That's how people learn, right? I mean, Deepansu, Shavan, I think codes in 8 different programs. 8 or 9, what is the latest count?
8.
8, okay. He codes in 8 languages as a thing. Yeah. So people, sorry?
I would be looking forward to see the app actually.
Sure. And there's another interesting application too called DTthon, where you can run different kind of selection processes for people. You had a unique selection process in DeepThought, right? You can run such selection process on this app, web app called DTthon. Okay, so we'll conclude this meet, and one ritual we have in DeepThought is at the end of every meet, we ask all the participants to reflect. So what are your feelings right now and what are your takeaways right now? Who wants to go in first with your reflection?
Shall I?
Sure.
Yeah. The the most important thing I get to learn is like go with your intuition, like develop process, develop basics, and then just wait to intuition kicks in. Like just do your basic thing, like as you said, like write, and wait and think through it. That's the one basic thing. It's like another, like think like a customer. Don't think like you are the builder, and don't think you are the authority. Think the customer is the authority. Like it's a cliche, but yeah, think like a customer. Okay. Another thing, like as we are also an education app, how to make education interesting. What are the things we can put in? Yeah. So basically, this.
Thank you, Saurabh.
Yeah.
May I? So like it's been few days since I have been observing workshops and the meets, whatever interactions are going on. So it feels like it is a completely different world from where we are existing. Like it's just few days and we get to learn so many things that I can't even list down on my fingers. You got to know about intuitions, you got to know about so many theories, about so many people who have done to this world for the sake of innovation. And when you get to learn so many things, no, you one thing comes in your mind कि इतनी देर तक मैं कहाँ थी, like where have been I living, कहाँ पर थी मैं when this all things were happening. And also I attended uh, like it was a class going on, and I would like to share it with all of you. Those kids were in 4th grade, and they were literally talking like they are the CMOs of the company, and what decision they have to take and how they have to take their approaches. So deep thought is literally working on those kids. Like if I'll find myself in 4th standard, I would be just like any other kid, playing in the balcony or sitting or sleeping or anything. But they were thinking like CMOs and CEOs, and they were telling their approaches. So like here, what from this deep thought, whatever I got from this, first of all, thank you for sharing your experiences with us. It will surely help us, all of us, I think, those who have listened to it. And another thing is literally the people over here are very helpful. Like whenever you'll ask them, they'll answer to you. Yeah, I can make it, I can list it in words. You can get what I want to say. Thank you.
I'll go. I'll start saying. My experience with DT, I think of all of the DT employees as my friends. I mean, I respect them a lot as my seniors, but like whenever I talk to them, there's no sense of pride in their response. So I feel very open, and as Harsh told that Tarun is the boss, and I never felt that kind of fear from him. Maybe in future if I do some mistake, but I never felt like. And I approached him like whenever I wanted to. I approached him. I like the guidance and inspiration I got from DT. Yeah, I'm very nervous right now. Okay.
Shall I go on?
Yeah.
Shall I start?
That's okay, Ryan. I mean, I think you'll get used to it. And Ryan, I'm sure you'll get used to this, and at some point, that nervousness and fear naam ka cheez, you'll forget it. And that's one thing to sort of achieve, right? That you forget who you are and just engage with the idea, and that's the best way of beating your nervousness.
Yeah.
Forget that there's a Ryan. Forget that human being called Ryan. You just here to discuss some ideas. The moment your focus is on the idea and not on Ryan, once you let go that ego and only focus on the ideas, that nervousness goes away. Yeah, Pavinder, please go.
Yeah. Okay. So to start with, I would say that I'm definitely impressed to start my journey as Deep Thought by seeing this session. The session seemed too friendly to me, and knowing all the colleagues which are working here, especially I was really impressed how energetically Shagun conveyed her struggles and journey. And I came to a basic understanding of things like how to cross-functional things, and how to work upon different things, and most importantly, how to get feedback from others and how to start improving your journey. And the best part was also about the double INC innovation, uh, intuition, and your creativity, and how you can reflect it over your journey on everything you think. So I'm just looking forward to all the exciting sessions that will be coming, and will be amazing to be a part of that.
May I go next? Yeah, so I'll start. Uh, Actually, I have been attending many sessions, and the very thought of deep thought, like it was intuition, and I hadn't heard about it. Like people think of intuition so deeply, and it is their main motive of the company, and it has been following very practically in real life. And that was the thing which amazed me the most. And also, I've been liking the thought that intuition has been taken so great, and it is somewhere to the deep root of our Indian culture. Like Indian culture teaches us, as Tarun sir had mentioned, like people from abroad come to India just to learn or to understand intuition, how it comes. So that that was really very amazing. And even today's the session was very helpful. It was very enlightening, and I feel very happy that I have attended this session, and I hope I'll get to know more about it in in the future. And I'm very excited to work with DT. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have seen that working or being an intern in any company is very different. It's also a good experience, different from studying in books and coding the whatever your lecturer have given you. So, but working with DT is on another side, because they don't only build your knowledge or by giving you a lot of tasks and working on it, they also consider about the relationship that you make with other mates, and however you grow up, not only as a software developer but also as a good worker. That's one I really appreciate. That was my reflection. And one last thing is a question about, like, how do you make follow up about your internees or whoever that you've met in contact
So we run.
After the completion of
So if
everything?
So if your question is follow-ups, I think we run sprints. Hariharan runs sprints to check on your progress from time to time and gives you, feedback. Yeah. Who wants to go in next?
May I?
Yeah.
So, as you've been saying, I'm completely silent by seeing such overwhelming lots of people. So I'm like completely nervous to speak. But by listening to the type of interactions in the deep thought, so I can't just sit there idle and just look at it. So like what I've learned from this session, like that the this organization basically works on this, basically builds intuition. This basically focus on the main point of intuition, and which I appreciate a lot, because from my understanding of intuition, like I would like to say it in one word, one line exact, to be exact. Like intuition gives you insight, and insights, having proper insights, helps you in innovation, and innovation changes the world. And that's what the basic basic meaning of intuition. And I am very happy that all my colleagues and all my seniors have the same kind of thing. and I'm very happy and I feel excited to work with those people with lots of wisdom and experience. Looking forward to a great journey and lots of learning, and that's it. Sim.
Shagun, Srijit is in your team.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear his voice.
Yeah, so looks like he's already started connecting the dots. Yeah.
Uh, excuse me, sir. Sir, can I go next?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't spoke to any of the team members till now, but this is my first time. So I want to say that I'm really excited to work with Deep Thought. Now, if I'm chosen, as it is the perfect environment that I'm looking for, and here till now, as I've known, everyone here is so helpful and so cooperative. So I'm very excited to work, and till date I'm having some doubts and I want to clear it, but I'm just very excited to work here. So thank you.
Can I go next?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I've been working here as an intern for 3 days, and like just working for 3 days, I got to understand that the environment is very nice. You know, the people are really helpful, and I've got to learn a lot of things in 3 days, and my internship of 3 months. So I believe that I'm going to get to know a lot of things. So and yeah, like I understood that like as i'm as I'm an introvert actually, so I have to overcome this. You know, I have to ask a lot of questions, lot of doubts. You know, whenever I get free time, I'll see how others work, you know, by changing the breakout rooms and stuff. And you know, not only working the back end stuff, but overall product. So yeah, like thanks for having me in this company, and I'm really glad to start working.
Srijit, I'm frankly a little puzzled when you tell me that you're an introvert.
Yeah, actually, my like actually in college I'm an introvert, but I'm trying to change myself. So like this internship is giving me an opportunity to
You know
do
why
this.
you're put in Arbaz's team? Arbaz is working on that mobile app. That mobile app by tomorrow it's going to launch if he meets his deadline. Right. So me and Shavan, we were brainstorming the teams. And as Shagun said, every week the teams change in Deep Thought. So when we make teams, it's like playing chess. This person here, this person here, iska strength here, isko dalte hain. Shubham Bhavan here, he's the most unpredictable guy. Chaos leke aayega, usko dalte hain project mein. Okay, Arbaz brings composure, isko dalte hain project mein. Because you know, everyone is a character here. Everyone has a certain strength. And it's like, when I think in that status which I wrote on LinkedIn, I said my favorite intern is Shubham Bhavan. Because he is like that dynamite. Kab kaise fodega, even he doesn't know. Extremely energetic guy, extremely talented guy, almost did a super challenging project all alone with the guidance of the CTO. So we're trying to put this, you know, team together, me and Shavan. So then I was like, Arbaz mobile app team, we need a solid team which will brainstorm. I need people who will brainstorm. I was like, okay, this Ryan guy is an energy bundle. Usko dal dete hain. He will confuse the hell out of them with questions because वो questions ज़्यादा पूछता है. ये सुरजित को डालते हैं because this guy is also curious. शुभम भट्टाचार्य को डाल देते हैं, वो भी एक अलग tangent में लेके जाएगा टीम को. So and then Chetan, who's like a poet philosopher kind of a guy. One poet philosopher, two curious developers, Ryan and Surojit, and one calm composed Arbaz who has to bring all these people to one consensus. Like भाई लोग बैठ जाओ हमें product बनाना है, and then you know moderated discussion. So you were put in that team purely because we wanted an energetic person who will bring in a lot of ideas. Because of all the backend developers, I was convinced that you are the backend developer who will contribute ideas. That's why you were put in our past team. Because for me, it's like the product is ready, it is already launching. I need a developer who will brainstorm ideas to fine tune an existing product. So I wanted a developer who will talk. I didn't want a developer who will be mute and say मैं backend developer हूँ, मेरा काम है API बनाना. I wanted a developer who's like my insan, mera kaam hai innovation. So that's why you put in the team. So if you tell me you're an introvert, I don't know, that doesn't fit in my brain. I've seen you as an energetic and curious person ever since I first.
Yeah, I mean, like if you starting to see me as energetic, then I'm really changing actually. I'm developing myself.
It's not just me. Look at your smile and your face. Everyone will agree with me here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is
So
a
if you agree with me, you can just raise your hands. Yeah. Okay, Palash wants to raise both his hands. See, everyone sees that energy in you, and it's like contagious, you know. And it's contagious, Surojit. When you smile, it brings a smile in the other people. We have mirror neurons in our brain, mirror neurons. So those mirror neurons make us mimic other people. So when you have people who smile, that smile spread. Thanks, Surojit. Thanks for giving us this energy. Who's going next? Who's going next with the reflection? We'll listen to 2 reflections and close. Yeah.
Sir, I'll go.
Yeah, Anaka, please go ahead. You can call me Tarun, sir, madam, business here.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right from the beginning, when the assessment started, I felt it a bit different. Like it was a lot of stages going on, a lot more things to write, a lot more like a reflection. It was written reflection itself, right? To know about us, to express about ourselves. It was quite different from rest of the companies, how people will hire interns. It was different. That's what struck me to at least try. And when this started, it was started with a workshop, and we got to connect with a lot of people. Still, I had a lot of confusion. Still, I have a lot of confusion. And on the second day, you assigned a task. So what I thought is, I should finish the task fast as I can. I was trying to do that. Then what Shagun said is, you should ask questions. You should know about it. You should have a clarity regarding what you want to do. So what I'm thinking now is I should get a clarity regarding what I want to do, and I should work on it. Also, I need to work on my intuition, what I can do. I should think deep, and I should do the work I'm thinking. So it is more about asking questions and having clarity what I felt in this deep thought.
Thank you, Anaka. One last reflection.
Can I go?
Yeah, Jay, please go.
So like today here, like I listened to everyone and everyone was emphasizing on like how the people here are and how the work culture is. And that is also what I've come to realize. And I've only been here like 5 days and I'm still in training. And although like I didn't talk to a lot of people, and also like I could relate to what Shagun said about hands opening up, and like I don't speak much at first, and but I like listen to the people talking in the past 4 days, and it was like a really friendly environment. And also like initially I thought that Shavan and Tarun, they are like bosses and you can't talk to them directly. But then slowly I started talking to them and I realized that they are really welcoming and friendly. And also Shavan, like he helped me a lot with the backend stuff and also helped me get started with the code base. So like in the next few months, I hope that I talk to everyone in the team and contribute as much as I can, and hopefully do a transformation of myself.
Thank you, Jay. This brings us to the conclusion of the meet. I just conclude this by saying, let's ask ourselves, why are we all here together? Why are we all here? There's a fundamental purpose. That purpose is, we believe at birth, all of us were geniuses. All of us had a lot of capabilities at birth. Who here thinks you were not capable at birth? All of you think you were capable at birth, right? So if right from childhood, if we were given a good education, where we were given the chance to express ourselves freely like how we all did in the last 2 hours. Yes, it was 2 hours. So if every child gets a chance, if every child gets the opportunity to experience strategy, policy and all, wouldn't every child grow as a leader? Wouldn't this world be awesome if the world had more leaders? Not the Ballal Dev kind of leaders or bosses, but the Bahubali kind of leaders who protect us. Leaders who are friendly, who take care of people and also ensure that the projects are running on time. So Deep Thought is a company which exists because we want to create the top 1% for the world. We want to create the top 1% for the world. So we are building technology through which every child can learn like a researcher. And our vision is one thing. By the year 2030, every school and every college in the world has to become an MIT, Harvard kind of a research institute. I mean, how many of you thought it was over ambitious and like film story when you first read it on Intern Shala? How many of you thought what MIT, Harvard, what changing every school and college to MIT, Harvard? Come on, people, be candid. How many of you thought that way? That is this even practically doable?
Hello?
Yeah.
I didn't thought it was over ambitious, but I thought it's like many have given it a try. Like we heard of many stories like this, but can we sustain that much? Like that was my thought. But when I opened the Google file and there were 7 pages to it, the longest I've ever seen. And when I read the questions, then I thought like it's something interesting. Okay, we might not get there, but as it is like we don't fight to win, we fight to fight. So yeah, that's why it got me interested.
Okay. As always, very spiritual sorrow. Yeah. So very interesting. So the idea is, you look at it, everybody spoke of how the DT culture gave them the opportunity to learn and grow, right? This is exactly what I experienced at ICER Pune when Indian government said we want to build an MIT Harvard kind of an institution in India, and ICER was born. So Deep Thought has been designed in a way that we build that research-oriented environment with deep thinking and so on. Now our job is to build a technology through which every school and every college can transform like this, where every child can express their ideas, think very deep and become the best. So, and if you ask, why is it that everybody learns so fast? Why is it that everybody grows so fast? It is because we are not selfish here. We are not doing it for ourselves. We are doing it for the world. And Saurav and everyone, let me tell you one thing. When you do it for the world and when you don't do it for yourself, you grow very fast. The biggest strength inside you comes out because you know you're doing it for the world. And success is just a byproduct, as Baba Ranchod Das used to say. Excellence ke piche jao, success khud tumhare piche aayegi. But one secret I would say for anyone is, don't do it for yourself. Don't ask, what will I get out of it? What will be my CTC? What will be my salary and all of that? Ask yourself the question, how can I contribute to the world? If you know how to contribute to the world and bring a change, money and success is just a byproduct. So for us, it boils down to one thing. How can we make a difference to the way children learn so that every child can grow like a Satya Nadella, like a future IAS officer, future CTO, future CMO, so that these kids can be the Rakwalas for the world. They can be the protectors for the world. They can lead the world. They can inspire the world. So to produce the top 1% of the world is why we're all here. And I hope you all are excited. I'll just conclude with the mantra of Deep Thought. Let's learn together. Let's grow together. Let's win together, right? Thank you, folks. You can go ahead with your observation to whichever breakout room you want. And your tech team, deadline mat bhulna, jaldi jao, start coding. Yeah.